Okay, I'm live. Guys, I have such issues filming because if you film a video over 15 minutes, it's so annoying uploading it to Instagram. But if you do a live, I think I can save it and then directly upload it. We're going to find out. Hopefully I can. Welcome! Hi! Okay, so this video, I'm turning into an IGTV. Let's see how long ago. What's up? This video is going to be about romance and dating the right way. Understanding masculine and feminine energy the right way. And specifically, I might even title it this, Why Masculine Energy is Not Bad and Why Masculine Energy is Not the Enemy. Because we've gone too far, way too far to this idea that masculine energy is bad, okay? So, bear with me. Believe me, you're gonna love this. Okay, so, my name is Jennifer Bergelli. Everyone calls me JFO, and you can too if you're watching this and don't know me. I am an astrologer. I've been doing astrology for over 25 years. I have my own unique system. I teach you your destiny in your chart. I teach you your destiny line, okay? Most astrologers don't focus on that. I have a very unique way I teach astrology. I have a very unique way of reading charts. And really what I tell you is your hero's journey, the two sides of your nature and how you're fighting the two sides of your nature and how to understand that life is all about that balancing act of your personality. So I want to just do a disclaimer that personality is so key in the dating game, in the romance game, in the understanding of masculine feminine energy, because it's not just about masculine feminine energy. It's also about your unique flair and style and the way that you express it, right? So just know that. But I found Pat Allen 5 years ago, Dr. Pat Allen. I thought it was a guy. It's a girl, well, a woman. She's like 85 and crazy and hilarious and fun, and you got to follow her and find her. But her work, well, first of all, it needs to be modernized. That's my mission. And I just want to say that we've got an epidemic right now with dating. It's an issue, and I'm going to explain why in this video. But the biggest epidemic that we have is that dating apps have gone awry. And so just know that one of my big missions in this lifetime is to create my own dating app, the JFO dating app, and it's going to be Pat Allen meeting astrology, and it's going to be amazing. If those two things could come together, we would change the world. We would change the world, and we would change marriages too, okay? Now, here's the thing. When I found Pat Allen, my problem was how I was showing up with men. I didn't know that was my problem, but my problem was how I was showing up with men and how I was trying to get what I wanted from men, okay? And so that was kind of the problem I had that Pat Allen solved for me. But what problem did she not truly solve for me? And that's the manifestation piece and the jumping over these hurdles in our dating world of people not having the Pat Allen gospel. If you know the Pat Allen gospel, you can work the tips and tools and kind of navigate. But if the world doesn't know the truth about masculine and feminine energy, it's very, very difficult. And you're probably going to understand it more when we dive into the teachings. Okay, so this is going to trigger people, but bear with me. Okay, the feminist movement effed up romance. I said it. Oh, I said it. Okay, so why? Why did it? Because Pat Allen actually says that in the beginning of her book. She talks about how the feminist movement happened. She got all excited. She went home. Her husband was like, F you. They divorced. It ended, right? And then, of course, she got married like 4 times. So that was like her first marriage. But, you know, she talks about this in her book. And she was just like, why? Why did this feminist movement ruin my relationship? And so later in life is she did not get into her work until later in life. Okay. So later in life, around like mid 40s is when she started to do her work, and she went to school as a psychologist. That's what she does. And then she got her doctorate. Now her doctorate was in androgynous semantic realignment. Okay. What does that mean? Androgynous is masculine and feminine, right? Semantic is the communication piece, and realignment is realigning it, okay? So when you bash masculinity, when you bash it from a feminist perspective, you are not bashing masculinity. What you're bashing is inside out men. And men, if you're bashing the extreme femininity, you're not bashing femininity. You're bashing inside out women. Better to say it inside out boys and inside out girls instead of aligned men and aligned women. We need aligned men and aligned women to do romance right. And there's so many reasons why we're not aligned. And I'm going to go into that, okay? But just understand, well, we're going to go into that. So I'm going to wait. Okay. So next up in the list, I've got all my notes, guys. This is going to be a long video. Okay. So why did the feminist movement ruin romance? Because you need equality in the boardroom, but you need equity in the bedroom, okay? And here's the thing. We absolutely use our femininity in our jobs, okay? But when you are tackling a role like a job or you're a parent, that energy you're bringing is a masculine role. Being a parent is a masculine role. Going to work is a masculine role. And I'm going to tell you why in a second, okay? Bye, girl. But the thing is that you've got to understand that that was what we were fighting for back in the day. We were fighting for understanding that no matter what your physical body is, your gender, no matter what your physical body is, your energy can be powerful. Your energy can go to work equally as another human being who has a different biology, right? So what we were fighting about was the physical body. Now, we know from a spiritual perspective that everything is an illusion. Nothing is real. Everything is an illusion. Think about it. You're born and then you freaking die. You don't take your body with you. So your body is an illusion, right? Okay? So just understand that when we're talking about this, we're not talking about our body. We're talking about energy, masculine, feminine energy, okay? Now, here's the big kicker. Are you ready? My dog is freaking out. Baby. Okay. The reason why relationships are so confusing right now, and the reason why the feminist movement kind of made us not aligned right, is because there's 4 people in every relationship. Boom. That's all you need. Gotta go. Okay. There's 4 people in every relationship. 4. Okay? You're masculine and feminine, and the other person's masculine and feminine. Okay? Now, this is why the body doesn't matter. This is why. Because you're going to be masculine and feminine, and they're going to be masculine and feminine. And so what happens is 2 people can come together and both can be super masculine. 2 people come together and both be super feminine, right? So that is the confusion, okay? Because there's 4 people in every relationship. Now, why? This is where my teachings of astrology come into play. Because I teach, babe, come here. Oh, it's okay. Go down. Go down. Oh, she's so annoying. Okay. I teach my 1, 2, 3, 4 method. And my 1, 2, 3, 4 method, are you ready? It's the elements of astrology. It's fire energy. So spiritual energy is fire signs. That moves into physical form, earth signs. We have a thought about it, air signs. We have an emotion about it, water signs. And we repeat that cycle, okay? So your thoughts are masculine. Your emotions are feminine. And herein lies the confusion, because everyone has thoughts, masculine, and everyone has emotions, feelings, feminine, okay? Now, here's where it gets confusing though. Masculine and feminine energy from a spiritual perspective, yin and yang, are there for a reason. Yin and yang is here for a reason. We need it. We can't make everyone yin and we can't make everyone yang. And that's the problem we're facing right now in our society, is that like everyone is so just sensitive to these to gender. It's ridiculous. Like people are ashamed for just wanting to be normal, okay? Now, that's not to say that 2 men can't come, they can. 2 men can come together and fall in love. 2 women can come together and fall in love. A woman could be the masculine and a man could be the feminine, and they can come together and fall in love. This is about the internal landscape, the thoughts and the emotions and the tools of communications, and we're going to get into that, okay? So just understand that this can be applied to any type of relationship you want. But we're going to use the default of a man being a man and a woman being a woman, because the reason is because biology has such a big factor in this, okay? And Pat Allen teaches that. She really teaches the biology. She talks about how a right-handed man is different than a left-handed man. A man who is left-handed is going to be more in touch with his femininity because his emotional right brain is going to be more connected to his thinking left brain, okay? And a right-handed man has that separated. They have it so separated. That's why as women, we can't expect men to think the same as we do. And as men, you can't expect women to think the same as you do. For as women, we have our right and our left brain so connected, okay? And that's most likely why there was a time in history where men were like, women are too emotional. They can't be in the boardroom, right? Obviously, we know that that's what we were fighting for, to say, no, we can set aside our emotion and be just thoughts, right? Or we can bring our emotion into our work, right? So I think the confusion is this idea that we have to live in a society where we never bring emotion to something, or that if we bring emotion to something that it's not masculine, right? No, we all have thoughts and we all have feelings. We all have masculine and we all have feminine, okay? But please let men be men. So let's go into that. So when women bash men, they are bashing inside out men. I said this before, okay? Now, here's the thing. A man, biologically, sees a hot, sexy woman and is physically wants her. His magic wand is like, woo, okay? We can't bash men for that. We can't bash men for wanting to talk dirty in the locker room with their buddies. That's men. They are biologically fit to want to insert their magic wand. That is their biology. I'm sorry, it is, okay? But it's the same with women. We are biologically built to bond emotionally. So as a woman, when we get that magic wand inserted in any part of our body, we are going to chemically bond to that man, okay? And let me tell you, if you're not, you either suppressed your emotions or you have a really funky, cool personality and you're just the exception to the rule. This is biology. Okay, so we have to stop bashing people how they're like, men are men and women are women for a reason. This is all for a reason. Okay, so let's go more into it. So biology plays a factor. Men think differently than women. Okay, now the reason what's happening right now is women are getting really, really powerful in their ability to be more masculine in the world, right? And men are realizing, oh, well, we can be a little bit more feminine. But in dating, what's happening is the very same woman who's like, I want power and I want equality. And then 2 seconds later, they're swiping on the app and they're like, why is no one courting me? Why is no one courting me? It's like, because you're doing all the masculine heavy lifting. It gets me very frustrated. This is why I'm here. Okay, there's more. There's so much more. Please stay with me. If you have to go, come back to this video, watch the whole thing. I haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet, okay? So, we need equity. In romance, we need equity. We need someone to be the pilot and someone to be the co-pilot. The pilot is a masculine role. The co-pilot is a feminine role. The pilot is going to kind of sacrifice a little bit, and the co-pilot's going to sacrifice a little bit. And that is what makes romance. That's what makes that equity that we want. We want a waltzing partner, not a disco partner. A disco partner is doing the same thing as we are. That's in the boardroom. A waltzing partner is when I'm going forward, you're going back. When you're going forward, I'm going back. And that's equity, okay? So, healthy narcissism, Pat Allen always says, healthy narcissism is good. Having confidence is good, right? It's that toxic narcissism that's toxic, obviously. And obviously there's an extreme to that. The extreme to that is someone who's like a sociopath, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about, because here's the thing. I found out that I was being narcissistic and I wasn't even confident. If anything, I was so insecure. So in her book, the question she asks you is, do you want your thoughts respected? Or do you want your feelings cherished? You can't have both. You're going to get both, but you can only pick one, at least in the beginning of dating, okay? And we're going to get to the tips and tricks and tools and all that things about that, okay? So you have to choose. Do you want your thoughts respected or do you want your feelings cherished? Which one, if it's college, which one are you going to major in and which one are you going to minor in? Usually the man is going to say, I want my thoughts respected. And the woman is usually going to say, I want my feelings cherished. That's the default. And it's the default for a reason. And do not let anyone ever bash you into thinking that, it's not good. Welcome. We're talking about masculine and feminine energy. Okay, so the question that you ask yourself before you are in the courting phase, or you can ask yourself even if you're in a relationship, is do you want your thoughts respected or do you want your feelings cherished? You're not going to have both at the same time. You have to pick one and you're going to sacrifice the other. When I read this, I threw the book across the room. I was so pissed at Pat Allen. I was like, hell no. Okay, I want both. I want both. That is narcissistic. It is narcissistic. The point of a romantic relationship is to have love, is to give love and to receive love. That's the waltzing. If you want both, you're narcissistic. Now, she does talk about types of relationships, and like one type is like a toxic type. She's like, you can have that type where like one person's like a 10 and one person's a 0. Like they're the loser and they just do anything that the 10 wants. And that's the example. So one partner just wants their thoughts respected, their feelings cherished, they get whatever they want. The other person just is like, okay, whatever you say. That is toxicity, right? Okay. So healthy narcissism is good, but not that narcissism where you don't want to give something. Okay. Now, she always says, I'm not a moralist. Have sex if you want to have sex. Okay. She's not a moralist. Fuck if you want to fuck, right? But these are the tips and tools that she gives for the art of monogamy. If you want monogamy, then you follow these tips and tools. What's up? Hey, girl. So she says, I'm not a moralist. Have sex if you want to have sex. But if you want, and here's what's so interesting. With her tips, I really have found that even in the art of casual sex, you can use these tips because you can bring that those tools of communication to have a win-win situation. We don't have that in our society today, especially with the dating apps. Everything is like a game and everyone doesn't communicate and no one wants to like figure it out and they just kind of want to like swipe and then walk away. And it's because we don't know how to communicate with the 4 people in every relationship, right? Every relationship is 4 people. You're masculine, feminine, and they're masculine, feminine. And when you're swiping, I mean, that's not even a relationship yet. You're just trying to get off the runway. And even with that alone, it's like impossible to organize these 4 people and communicate, right? Everyone is so confused, okay? So she says, I'm not a moralist, but to get the perks of monogamy, you have to sacrifice one. So remember, the question is, do you want your thoughts respected or do you want your feelings cherished? Now, in dating, when you are single and you've confirmed, now you're still going to apply these tips, right? For a casual intention. Like if you have a casual intention, go have fun with your casual intention, right? You're still going to apply these tips of negotiation that we're going to talk about in a second. But when you are dating, that is the key moment where you have to decide if you want to be the pilot or the co-pilot. Now, the pilot is going to be the leader. The co-pilot is going to be the receiver. Now, this follows the anatomy of men and women. Men have the magic wand. Women receive the magic wand. It's built into our anatomy, guys. It's built into our anatomy. So built into our anatomy is men giving, women receiving. That is the natural flow of masculine and feminine energy from a biological standpoint, okay? But like I said before in the beginning of this video, men can be the pilot or the co-pilot if they want, and a woman could be the pilot if they want. That's the beauty of freedom. That's the beauty of negotiation, okay? So at the end of the day, just understand that in the beginning of dating, you have to know who you are. That's first thing that I would do if I had a dating app is I would literally make you decide. Are you going to be the pilot or are you going to be the co-pilot? Because that is probably the number one problem with dating apps or in dating in general is no one knows who's leading anymore because we've totally lost the art of masculinity. Masculinity has gone away. Men don't want to step up and do anything anymore because women are doing all of it. That's what I mean by it ruined, the feminine movement ruined romance, okay? So you have to understand that once you understand these tips, it makes it so much easier, okay? Because then you know I'm going to be the co-pilot, this person's the pilot, and they're going to court me, they're going to pursue me. Now, once you're in a marriage, it's a whole different ball game. And the reason is because you're going to go through seasons as a couple. And you're going to have to decide in this season of our life, the woman might have to be the pilot on the money topic, right? And the man's the co-pilot. You're gonna change roles a lot through the tools of communication, and that's okay in a marriage. But in dating, you have to know which one you are, okay? Now, there's so much content. I'm gonna have to do multiple videos. So, remember in the beginning I said that Pat Allen's doctorate was in androgynous semantic realignment. Masculine, feminine energy, communication is what semantics means, and then realigning it, okay? So the semantics are the most important thing. It's the communication. She teaches you the art of masculine, feminine energy. She teaches you yin and yang, right? But really, it's that communication piece that is the most important, okay? Because that is where, now this is the biggest thing. I'm kind of going in, like, not in the order that I put my notes in, but that's fine. We'll go back to stuff. Here's the thing, okay? Relationships, even in business, guys, like selling, marketing, all of that, but mostly in romance, relationships are all about negotiation. It's negotiating your win-win. It's like, I want this, you want this. How do we negotiate the terms? How do we negotiate the terms? That is the key thing that most people are missing in marriages and the key thing most people are missing in dating. There's no communication anymore. If you feel something, you're just like, you're so annoyed as the woman, and the man's like, ugh, she's ball and chain. And it's just like a mess. It's a hot mess. It's like no one's happy in relationships because they just think like, I guess I'm stuck in this thing. But it's two free, whole people coming together to enjoy life, and it's supposed to be a loving experience. It's supposed to be this beautiful waltzing of giving and receiving, you know? And that's the whole part of the negotiation piece. But you can't learn the tips and tools of communication. You can't learn how to truly communicate if you don't know that there's 4 people in every relationship. That's where it gets complicated. So we're going to go into that now, okay? So like I said before, the masculine gives, the feminine receives. Now, again, I'm not talking about gender, really, but I sort of am, right? Because biologically, men are built to give. They're built to protect. They're built to insert their magic wand. Women are built to receive. We're built to surrender into our femininity and just like, be courted and be like, that's why they always say like, happy wife, happy life, because we're supposed to be the ones to receive. That doesn't mean that we're not giving to the man. By receiving and respecting the man's thoughts, you're giving to him. You're giving him that power. That's why the waltzing is so key and so important. Okay. So like I said before, in astrology, my 1, 2, 3, 4 method is the elements of astrology. Okay. So fire, earth, air, water. Fire and earth is masculine and feminine in astrology. Fire signs are masculine, earth signs are feminine. That, in my 1, 2, 3, 4 method, is the external landscape, okay? Now, this is so key. This was the biggest thing I learned from Pat Allen, and I was like blown away. That we all are, from a default position, from a spiritual perspective, we are all feminine, okay? And the reason why is because we are actually vulnerable. Our physical bodies are vulnerable to the masculine force that is God's source, oneness, whatever you want to call it, right? We obviously chose to come into this life experience. We choose our reality through our vibration, and then we choose when we're going to go. But do we choose, right? Like it's this dichotomy, right? It's like we're choosing it, but it's also this co-creation with source, God, oneness, whatever you want to call it. So when you're really aligned the right way with masculine, feminine energy, you are surrendered to your masculine provider. That is why we call God he. I get so annoyed when people are like, why do we call God he? Why can't it just be a she? Of course, I'm sure you could channel some angelic being or some interdimensional being that's feminine. Of course, like when you're co-creating with the universe, you're co-creating with all things, right? But from a spiritual perspective, that source oneness energy, okay, is masculine. And we as humans are collectively feminine. We're all vulnerable to just dying, right? Like we're all vulnerable to it. That's why when you watch a man at church and he's like crying and he's like surrendering to God, it's kind of sexy. It's kind of hot, right? But he's still a man Okay? So tip number one is you have to get in right alignment with you and you, as Abraham Hicks would say, you and you, right? You with God. You have to get your holy love aligned before you can have that romantic love. If you don't have that holy love aligned, that romantic love, you're going to make that kind of like what you're worshiping, so to speak, right? So it's step one is that external masculine and feminine relationship. But then the internal masculine and feminine relationship is our thoughts and our emotions. Thoughts are masculine, emotions are feminine. Now, it doesn't mean that as a woman, if you want to be the feminine and you want your feelings cherished, that does not mean that you're not going to be able to like speak some thoughts. Like, that's not what it's about. It just means that they're going to be the leader and you're going to be the co-pilot. But as a woman, Pat Allen always says, you have veto rights. You can veto where your pilot is leading you. If your pilot is leading you to a place where you feel very uncomfortable, you can say, hey babe, I veto this. I'm not feeling so good. And if he's a cherishing man, he's going to say, oh, I'm so sorry. What would be better? And you can guide him to lead right. When it works, it freaking works. So let's see what's next in my little thing here. So, okay. This is where it gets good. Okay. So now that we kind of know and we've kind of understand how this works, right? Masculine, feminine energy from this astrology perspective, from this Pat Allen perspective, now we can understand that we're really working with 4 people in every relationship, your thoughts and emotions, their thoughts and emotions, okay? Most men want to be masculine, but what's happening in our society today is that they're inside out. So let's talk about an inside out man versus a aligned man, and let's talk about an inside out woman versus an aligned woman, okay? What is the difference? Because that's what we're truly bashing. We're truly bashing inside out femininity and inside out masculinity, okay? That's what we don't like, okay? So here it goes. This is the best shit. Oh my God. This is like the best shit. Okay, here we go. So a man is a masculine on the outside, but he's feminine on the inside. A woman is feminine on the outside, but she's masculine on the inside. What Pat Allen talks about when she talks about this is it's the anima and the animus. And I think it's a Carl Jung teaching. It's either Freud or Carl Jung, okay? But basically, what she says is that men are masculine on the outside, but their souls are feminine. And women are feminine on the outside, but their souls are masculine. Now, of course, immediately, like, we're all going to get so confused, right? Because we're like, well, what about lesbians? And what about gay people? And what about transgender? Yes, I understand. It can be very confusing. But you have to understand the basis first before you can go create uniqueness with it, right? And I think what we've lost in our society, we can totally have the equality. We can totally have the freedom of being whoever you want to be. But if we lose the very core of yin and yang, if we lose the very understanding of why biology is biology, we can't understand it all. Does that make sense? It gets so much more confusing, and that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. I mean, anyone that's single right now can tell you, especially a woman, they're going to be like, men are not men anymore. They're not courting me. They're not pursuing me, you know? And a lot of men are probably like, ugh, she does all the heavy lifting. I don't even, there's no space for me. I can't be a man. We really have this epidemic, okay? So that's my mission. My mission is to teach you why we have this epidemic. Okay, so men, they're vulnerable in their heart space, okay? So because they're masculine on the outside, they're gonna lift the car, they're gonna deal with the stuff of life, okay? So dealing with my 1, 2, 3, 4 method, men, the thoughts, right? Because remember, thoughts are masculine. Thoughts manage the physical, and emotions manage the non-physical. Okay, this is so key. So a man's job in a relationship is he really is that physical leader, right? He's gonna fix the broken thing, and he's gonna, you know, he's real. That's why it's like so sexy when a man's like, babe, you want me to fix the TV? Honey, can you fix the TV? Yes, I'll be your hero and fix the TV. It's hot, it's sexy, right? But it's most sexy when he's coming from his feminine soul. And we're gonna talk about what that looks like, okay? So, I'm going all over the place, but here we go. So a man rules the physical, right? So his body is built to be the physical hero, okay? But his soul is feminine. And so what does that look like? What it looks like is when he's going to cherish you. Because remember, A man who's going to be the pilot is going to have his thoughts respected, and he's going to sacrifice his feelings being cherished, okay? Whereas a woman's going to get her feelings cherished, but she's going to sacrifice a little bit of her independence. She's going to sacrifice her thoughts being respected because she's going to be the co-pilot, right? So when a man is truly a man, he is masculine on the outside, but he's feminine on the inside. He's going to cherish you. So that cherishing comes from this soft, mushy place. I always say that for a man, the wallet is where their vulnerability is, because they're going to pay. They're going to pay for things, right? That's the way that they give. That's the way that they cherish. So for them, a woman could walk all over and just like take advantage of that. And that's where his vulnerable place is, okay? But for a woman, her vulnerability is her body, her actual physical body, okay? That's why a man biologically is like, magic wand, I want that woman, insert penis, insert penis. And a woman is physically like, oh my God, like don't take advantage of me. Like don't take advantage of my body, because the body is where the femininity is, right? So as women, we're feminine on the outside. That's why we're like, let's get our hair done. Let's be goddesses, you know, but inside we are masculine. Our souls are masculine. That's why we have the babies, because we're stronger inside, okay? So our souls are masculine. So what tends to happen is when a woman is being a girl and she's inside out, her masculine soul is spilling out of her feminine body, okay? And this is what it translates to. It translates to a woman being so like pissed at her man, rolling her eyes like, can we go yet? And being just such a bitch, right? But losing that feminine body. So the man's like, I'm not even attracted to you anymore. Why are you being such a bitch, right? But when a man is being inside out, he's feminine on the outside, masculine on the inside. So when a man is being inside out, he's basically not doing any heavy lifting. He's not going to open the car door. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, what's up? What's up? And he's coming from this asshole place. He's put the masculine inside. And so he's like, fuck you. I'm not gonna do that. So basically what happens, guys, is we are living in a world of inside out men and women. Everyone's inside out. No one knows how to be right side in. And that's why, what came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the woman not respecting the man or the man not cherishing the woman? If the man can't cherish the woman's not gonna respect the man. And then it's just broken. That's why we probably have so many marriages right now that are just, everyone's miserable because there's broken waltzing. The waltzing has been totally broken, okay? So when a man is being a man, he does not lose his feminine soul. He's cherishing. When a woman is being a woman, she does not lose her backbone. She's confident, right? So when a man is like really attracted to a woman, it's because she cares about her physical body. She looks hot. Well, the best way to put it is she feels hot. So if you feel sexy in your body, a man's going to pick that up. He's going to be like, ooh, she's hot. Like, I want her, you know? So that's why it matters to feel good in your body, okay? So you can be sexy. But then when you come out with that masculine soul and you're confident AF and you're like, what's up? And you don't take shit, like, but you do it from a very feminine, sexy way, right? You're not being a bitch. You're like, yeah, like, that's cool. You know, like, you're just very confident. A man wants that. That is like so sexy to a man. Vice versa. If a man is like so masculine and like open the car door and like just a man, you know, but then he's like really good and kind and cherishing, like, you're just like, whoo, I want you, right? So when it's done right, it is done right. So now we're going to talk about the communication piece. Okay, so Pat Allen always says, as a woman, keep your yang mouth shut. Unless you have to call a doctor, a lawyer, or the cops, keep your yang mouth shut. We want to do it. We want to do the masculine work. We don't let the man do the masculine work, okay? We insert ourselves. So why she says it is, if you're in danger, get the fuck out of there, open your yang mouth. But if you're not in danger, keep your yang mouth shut. I just love her so much. She also says, don't ask a man what he's feeling unless he's puking or bleeding. Okay? But what's so cool about her work is like what she tells you to do instead. It's the same thing. It's just different semantics. Remember, androgynous semantic realignment. It's just different words. Okay? So the first thing she always says in a relationship is you have to ask for permission. You can't be a bitch and be like, you did this to me. I'm so pissed. or even a man, like schooling your woman out of nowhere. That's bullying. That's abusive. It's not loving. It's horrible. Okay. So stop. You have to ask for permission. You have to say, hey, I have something I wanted to talk to you about. Is now a good time? Then they can say, oh, sure. What's up? And then you go into it. Okay. So for a woman, you would say, you have every right to do this, because you have to let them off the hook. Every human has free will. Okay. No one's there for your pleasures and needs, right? Like everyone is free will. Everyone's choosing to be in a relationship, choosing to date someone, right? And you hopefully you want them to be like there because they want to be, right? So you say, hey, you have every right to do that. But when you did that, it made me feel this. What do you think about that? Right? It's putting the man in his thinking brain. You're sharing what you feel. So really a big thing about this is like a lot of people think like when you, as a woman, if you want to go into your feminine energy, like you're not allowed to talk. No, you're going to be even more communicative from a amazing confident place, not this needy place where you're being a bitch on the outside, but you're needy AF and you're like, I need you to do things for me so I feel better, right? No, you're going to be confident and have backbone. Same for a man. He's going to say, hey, you have every right to do that. But when you did that, I thought this. How do you feel about that? Right? It's the same thing. It's just these words of thought and feeling, right? And it really changes everything. I'm telling you, it changes everything when you do that. Okay, so ask for permission, tools of communication. Okay, so this is a really big one, and I love it so much. She says, women don't fall in love. We do, obviously, but just go with me here. Women don't fall in love. Men fall in love. Women are love. We just are love. When you're a confident woman, aligned correctly, you are being love in the world. That is your mission. Remember, the emotional energy manages the non-physical. We manage the spiritual direction of the relationship. The masculine, the thinking brain manages the physical. This is my 1, 2, 3, 4 method. I'm going to do a video on my 1, 2, 3, 4 method. It's just the elements of astrology, okay? So physical, earth signs, air signs is mental, emotional, water signs, and then you've got fire signs, which is spiritual. So the way it lays out, it's so cool because really when I started to learn Pat Allen's dating teachings, it really aligned with my astrology. And I was like, this is, I'm onto something here with this. So we can really understand it from that perspective. So the men, thoughts, rule the stuff. Women, emotions, rule the universe, the spiritual, okay? That's why when a man truly falls in love with a woman, she actually forces him to step up into his responsible manhood. Okay, most men that fall in love, they become a man overnight and they're like, what just happened? It's because they fell in love, and they fell in love because the woman was just being love. Okay, so I love when she says that. And if you're just tuning in, you guys are gonna have to watch the whole thing because I just dropped all these bombs. I'm gonna do more videos on this. It's like literally the gospel of masculine feminine energy. Everyone needs to know this. So I think I went pretty much over everything, but now I'm just going to end with the 3 C's that Pat Allen talks about, are the top 3 C's you need for a relationship to work. And I've added my own. So there's really 6. We're going to go into it. But one other thing I will say that's messed up with dating right now is that we are also living in a world of extreme polarity right now. So obviously we're in a great awakening, and some people are not awake yet and some people are. And so that's another obstacle with dating that we have to deal with. But what I love about Pat Allen is because she teaches you the tools of communication, once you have the tools of communication, you can navigate anything in any relationship in any way. I'm talking marketing, romance, the boardroom, the bedroom. You can use these tools of communication to get a win-win, to negotiate the terms of what you want. And no one is doing that anymore in our society. No one knows how to freaking talk to anyone or communicate. No, that's why there's ghosting, because no one knows what they're doing. They're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I gotta go. They just freak out, okay? So my dating app would charge you $2 if you ghost. I'm gonna have a dating app one day. Okay, so the 3 C's are chemistry, compatibility, and communication. You can't control chemistry. It's either there or it's not. And the secondary C to that for me is the chart. Astrology is, I don't believe in falling in love with someone because of a chart, But I do believe in that the chart will show you why you have chemistry. The chart will show you how to navigate that relationship. And so really chemistry is all about that personality match, okay? That's where the chemistry is. So chemistry is the first C. You can't control chemistry. It's either there or it's not. That's why a lot of people get into relationships with people they don't want to be with because the chemistry is good, right? The second is compatibility, and I added core values because I truly believe that it's not just about compatibility. I really do think you have to be on the same page with your values on this, especially in this world of polarity. Babe, stop whining. My dog's whining. She ruins all my videos. So compatibility you sort of control, right? Because you can use the tools of communication to sort of like balance out the compatibility, but okay, so compatibility. And third, and the last one is communication. And I added commitment to that because I think that commitment is so key. And a lot of people get trapped in these relationships. They don't even know the person didn't really even want monogamy, right? So communication is so key to understand. Are we on the same page with what we want? Now, communication is the only thing you can control, right? And what's so interesting is when you're dating someone, you can be like, oh, you know what? We've got chemistry. We've got communication, but we don't have compatibility. Maybe we can figure that out. Or we have compatibility, we have communication, but we don't have chemistry. You should probably be friends. It really helps you align what's off. So remember, communication is the only thing you can control. So what you want for amazing romance is you want epic chemistry with amazing compatibility, and then you learn the tools of communication. So, like I said, relationships are negotiation. You have to learn the art of negotiation to truly understand how to do romance the right way. And you have to understand the masculine and feminine energy. I'm going to do more videos on this. So if you guys have questions, please let me know. I'm going to make this an IGTV so you can rewatch. I definitely want to create my dating app at some point because we need it. But if you want some love coaching, I'm actually beta testing my love coaching right now. So I have it at super low rates right now. But love coaching is for anyone who is in a relationship and needs help or is dating and needs help. Specifically, if you're a woman and you're dating, that's like my zone of genius because that's what I fixed all the problems I was having. But anyone, I can help you because it's the art of Pat Allen and it's amazing. So to summarize this video, feminist energy or the feminist movement ruined romance. I hate to say it, but it did because we needed equality in the boardroom, but we lost it in the bedroom. We need equity in the bedroom, and that in every relationship, there's 4 people. There's your masculine feminine, your thoughts and emotions, and their masculine feminine, thoughts and emotions. And you have to ask yourself the question, do I want my thoughts respected or do I want my feelings cherished? Do I want to be the pilot, thoughts respected, or do I want my feelings cherished, the co-pilot? You can't have both. That's narcissistic. You have to pick one. You can't want your thoughts respected and your feelings cherished at the same freaking time. No, no, no. When you're dating, it's so important. When you're in a marriage, you can use the tools of communication to negotiate the terms so that in certain seasons, one of you is the pilot, in certain seasons, one of you is the co-pilot. But I think the best way it works is when let's say the man's the pilot, because that's the default, right? The man's the pilot, the woman's the co-pilot, and that's your default. But then in certain seasons of the marriage, you might need to switch roles depending on what's happening. But that's okay, right? So we need to go back. There's a reason, guys. There's a reason why there's traditional roles. Traditional roles are not bad. Masculinity is not bad. Stop bashing masculinity. It is not bad. And I bet you the same people that are bashing masculinity are the women who want the man to open the freaking car door. Don't bash it because you're ruining it. Okay. That's my preaching moment. I'm out. Let me know if you have questions. Love you guys.